This is my review of The Walking Dead Season 10 Episode 13 titled What We Become, which is weird enough that has the title of the 10th volume of the comic book, which is the end of Season 4, so it's kind of weird that they chose that for almost the end of Season 10. This is also Michonne's final episode, so if you've not seen the episode yet, make sure you don't watch it because I'm going to be going into full spoilers and kind of a breakdown of the episode. So if you don't want to get anything spoiled for you for this episode, do not watch this review, but after you see the episode, you're always more than welcome to come back and watch the review. So let's go. So the episode kicks off and we kind of get to see a what if flashback of Michonne when she first met Andrea, and instead of saving Andrea in that moment, she lets Andrea die, and of course Michonne does not save her from that one walker. Andrea dies, which was something I didn't really expect Andrea to die in that situation. I thought if Michonne never saved her, she would have found a way out of that situation. I didn't think one walker was going to kill Andrea in that way, but of course it did. Then we get the title credits and we find out that Virgil's family is actually dead. He brings Michonne to a grave of them, and he goes, okay, they're actually not in the ground, he just dug these graves. His family is actually inside a building, but he doesn't have the strength to go in and put them down, because even though it's 10 years into the apocalypse, Virgil doesn't really have much of a background with killing walkers. He has seen them, but he hasn't really killed them as much as Michonne, so that's why we got Michonne to come over and help him kill the walkers to get into his family so he could put his family down, because he knew if he went in by himself, he wouldn't be able to do it. So then him and Michonne make their way in there to kill all the walkers, and then they come across this family that were actually hung. So they're hung inside the building, they're all dangling there, and you see a shoe on the ground, and Virgil gets really upset and he puts I'm assuming it was his daughter's shoe back on her foot, and then the whole scene plays out, and then he goes, she says, okay, I need you to show me where the weapons are, and goes on the back of it, goes, okay, I'll show you in the morning, it's just not really safe to go now. They have a little bit of a fight, and then she goes searching for the weapons, and she goes searching to room, and then she hears someone calling out for her. Well, not for her personally, but just calling out, can you, someone help me? And then I was like, oh, for a second there, it sounded like a man's voice. So I was like, there's no way that is Rick. No way in hell that's going to be Rick. Of course, it wasn't Rick. It was some group of people we've never actually met before. But then we see that she turns around and Virgil actually locks her inside that room. And I was like, oh, okay, so he's that type of guy. Then after a few hours of what I'm going to say is probably about 8 or 9 added on top of her not sleeping that night, as well as the travel there, it's been a couple of hours. Michonne was trying to break out, and then she probably just passed out from exhaustion from the whole situation. She wakes up later on, the door is still locked, her katana has been taken, as well as a plate of food in front of her. She's talking to the people and they're like, just eat, just get your strength up and eat, you can't fight him if you're starving. And of course he did, he drugged the food, which is something I really wasn't expecting. And to see Michonne in this situation, it was actually really hard to see her like this, because this is one of our heroes of the TV show. Same way was when we seen Rick screaming in agony as he pulled himself off that rebar. I think it was the exact same kind of thing. It was really hard to see our actual hero getting sick all over the place inside of a bucket and getting all these hallucinations. But the hallucinations were really cool, getting to see some actual characters. As in, none of them, I think only 2 of them probably were actually recorded, especially for the episode. The rest of them was all this kind of stock footage and put in place. But the rest of them was pretty cool. Like we see a cameo from Siddiq, which is something I really wasn't expecting to see. Him or Siddiq and Michelle, they're going back and he's saying, look, this is what happens to your family, and blood starts gushing down. And then it goes back again to Andrea, and we see that she actually, when she dies, Michelle goes back, takes her body, and then Michelle's just travelling by herself. And because of that, eventually she loses her pets, which are the pet walkers. And then we see the scenario from episode, I'm going to say 13 in season 3 with Claire. We see when the hitchhiker was running, screaming for help, as Daryl, Michonne, and Carl were making their way back to where Rick and Carl are from. We see that survivor is actually now Michonne. She's screaming for help. She eventually catches up, and it was actually Daryl who was there. And the only reason I say they made Daryl in that situation was because Andrew Lincoln's not coming back, and Carl is way too old to do that now. So they made Daryl do that situation where he's like, I'll just keep going. And then we also continues on. We actually see that Michonne meets up with Negan and the group, and she becomes a savior. And I like that, seeing Negan the way he used to be. I just kind of enjoyed that scene. And we also get to see then the situation back in season 6 when they actually break into one of Negan's outposts and kill everyone in it. We see a little cameo from Glenn and Heath, which is something I really wasn't expecting to see, but it wasn't really a cameo as much as they just kind of got the footage from that episode and then re-put it because it was the exact same footage as before. And we see Glenn's first kill was actually going to be Laura if Michonne was actually there on Negan's side. And then Heath goes to kill Michonne. She's actually awake. She shoots and kills both Heath and Glenn. So Michonne kills Heath and Glenn this scenario. Then it moves on a bit. We see that at the whole Negan killing scene, Negan doesn't actually kill someone in this scenario. It's actually Michonne, and I couldn't tell if she killed herself in that situation or if it was Abraham. The way it was kind of filmed, it kind of caught me off guard a little bit, so I don't really know if in that scenario she killed herself or killed Abraham. I'm assuming it was Abraham. Then it goes on, all out war, big battle is happening. We see that Daryl shoots an arrow straight through her chest, and then Rick shoots her in the head. So that is how that whole scenario of what if Michonne never saved Andrea, she would eventually be killed by Rick and Daryl. In all fairness, I don't think that's exactly how it would play out if it was actually properly, but for all dramatic effect, I thought that was a really cool, interesting way of her zombie apocalypse husband kills her in a scenario where they don't actually meet. When it comes back out of the hallucination, Michonne is still getting sick in the bucket, and then Virgil gets right behind her, and then she picks up a knife and stabs him in the leg, and the knife was there from the dinner. And it makes you think, like, Virgil, why would you just leave a knife there? She clearly is good with weapons. Why would you just leave a weapon there for her to actually use against you? She gets out, and then she locks him in there for a while, and she goes around, she looks around in every single building. She says she can't find any of the weapons he was talking about, and he goes, oh, of course, there's some weapons out there, it's just these aren't I have no real reason to go into these buildings, so they're still actually there. And then it goes on, and then the other people there, they want to kill him, but then they decide to spare his life and let him live on, because that's kind of, she says in a way, not exactly saying it, my mercy prevails over my wrath, not exactly saying that exact quote, but kind of flipping it around, making it somewhere similar to that. And then Michonne and Virgil go onto this big boat that had washed up, and they were searching it. They find all these weapons, and it pans out, and all of a sudden we see a pair of boots, and I was like, holy shit, they are Rick's boots. She is going to see them, and of course she sees them, and she just loses. She picks them up, hugs them, smells them, realizes that it is his boots. Then she gets Virgil. I can't remember if she put her hand up against his neck, or if she put the katana up against his neck, saying, where is he, what have you done, what happens? And then they go around, they're searching through all these kind of papers to see, is there any proof that it was actually Rick, because she knows it's his boots, but she wants to see is there any proof that he was actually alive, rather than them just finding his body and keeping his boots. And of course they find out his paper, there's nothing actually there, and they see a phone. She picks up a phone, and I was thinking to myself as I seen that, I'm like, okay, best odds, Rick's gone 6 years, someone's has been on his boat God knows how long. Do you really think that phone has any battery in it? But no, it's actually, there was an image written in the top, it said Rick, and then it had a picture of Michonne, and at first I thought it was Carl, and I was thinking, you know your son's dead, Rick, why did you draw a picture of him? And then of course it was actually Judah, and that whole image, that broke Michonne. That was the scene in the trailer that we seen, Michonne actually losing it, and I was like, okay, we haven't seen Michonne cry like that since the death of Rick, so there must be someone connected to Rick. So now there is public knowledge of Michonne knowing that Rick is alive, and she's debating whether or not to go search for Rick or go back and mind her kids. And then they fixed the boat and they're making their way back. She's now contacted Judah, and her and Judah are having a conversation. And she's saying to Judah, I have found something, and there's a very, very small chance that your dad is still alive. And then she convinced her, like, no, you have to go search for him. Maybe he's trying to get back to us and he can't, so you actually do have to go find him. And I think that's the best way of making this situation really plausible. Because I think if Judah didn't want her to go, if she was crying saying you can't go, it'd be really, really weird, really out of character if Michonne was deciding to go. And the fact that Judah actually told Michonne to go, I think that's a lot more believable in Judah or Michonne actually leaving now to go and find Rick. And I don't know what happened with the 3 people she was with, because she's by herself. I don't know if they've now joined Alexandria, if they joined Hilltop, I don't really know. But Michonne is now off searching for Rick, and I'm really excited to see her in the movies. I'm assuming she's going to be in the movies, but she's walking with her pets, very similar to what she did in season 3. She finds these 2 people. She gets a kind of a flashback in a way of when she first met Rick. She kills the 2 pets, and she helps these 2 people get to this massive crowd, and I have no idea whose massive group is. It's kind of weird. They're kind of just traveling in big packs, so it seems like it's very well organized, but I really don't know who this kind of weird massive group is. So this episode I actually really loved it. I loved Michonne's ending, because I was really thinking there's no way they're going to kill her, but how are they going to get her to find out that Rick's alive and leave in a kind of believable manner? So I'm really glad to find a way that she found the boots, she found the phone, so she knows he's alive, but she doesn't know where she is. So that kind of gives it enough time for her to be going off for a good period of time to eventually find her. And I'm assuming we will see her in the movies. I don't think we'll see her in a show for the longest time, but I will be shocked if we don't see her in the probably second movie. I'd be first movie maybe not, but second movie I think we should see her then. And I'm really excited to see Michonne again because I do love the character of Michonne. Disappointed she's not in the show anymore, but we will see her and Rick reunite in the movies. Which please AMC, please get these movies just as soon as possible. I really think I do. Everyone wants to see these movies, and they're gonna make so much money. So just make these movies. And I'm actually really excited to see now what's going to happen with episode 14. When the likes of Daryl finds out, when Negan finds out, when Carol finds out, when all these people find out that Rick is actually alive. I'm really excited to see everyone's reaction to finding out that Rick Grimes is still alive. So if you want to hear my thoughts on when everyone finds out, if you want to hear my thoughts on my opinion on everyone's reaction on that, make sure you click that subscribe button because it's probably going to be in episode 14, 15 or 16. So if you want to hear my thoughts on those 3 episodes, click that subscribe button so you can come back the next couple of weeks and watch those reviews. And as always, thanks for watching.